Alrighty, welcome everyone to episode number 3 of VR Jungle. As you all know, my name is Matt Geraltz, or Geraltzy, through most game platforms and the Discord. Over here, I have Greg Corman. He is one of the devs over in Larcenauts, and pretty much he's going to take it from here and do a way better spiel than I would probably do.
Sure, yeah. Hey, Matt. So, like you said, my name's Greg. I'm one of the founders of Impulse Gear. We've created Larcenauts, which we're going to talk about today, and we also created Farpoint for PSVR in 2017. And just happy to be on the show. And yeah.
Awesome. So, you say that I always see you guys have Impulse Gear as your main tagline and stuff. So, is that like
Yeah.
A publisher? Is that your full thing that's going to be publishing like multiple games, or like how does that work?
Right. So, I mean, this comes down to how you run a company. So that's the company name.
Mm-hmm.
And typically what we've done is more just straight game development. So creating for example, Farpoint was actually published by Sony.
Yeah.
So we weren't the publisher for that. We were just the game developer for that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Sony is the one who published it and put it on all the stores and did the marketing for it. But with Larcenauts, we're the publisher as well. So Impulse Gear is doing the publishing as well as the game development on that one.
Yeah. So
it's kind of mixed.
So do you have people that work specifically in the Larcenauts name, and then some people that work specifically in the Impulse name, or is it just still just a whole general community like company?
No, so we're actually pretty small. We're a fairly small company, and we all generally work on the same game at the same time. We generally work on one large game at a time. So, for example, Larcenauts would be a large game for us, and we all work on it together. And we're a fairly lean company in that way, where we don't have a lot of overhead in terms of managers or, like I said, I'm one of the founders, but I still do programming on the game all the time.
Yeah,
I'm working in the code base with everybody else, and we all do. There's nobody on the team that doesn't work directly on the game. So
yeah,
it's a very small team and like tight-knit team like that. And so we at like Impulse Gear, the company, will, we made Larcenauts and we'll continue to make other games in the future. But, but the team itself will generally work on the whatever the major game is at the time. And we're still focusing on Larcenauts right now. And you'll see as you know, we've got a big update coming soon.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure we'll talk a little about later. But
I'm very excited for it.
We're all working on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know little bits and pieces from here, and I even have some people on my actual Larcenauts team that actually were part of the playtesting, and they're eagerly waiting for the NDA to be completely thrown out so they can bring, like, I know Contra, he has content that he has scheduled to be sharing. He's like, I need this to go. I want this to happen to be great. So from the game, so you said you're a founder of Impulse Gear, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, how long ago was that? Like, what was your passion to even get yourself into something like that?
Ooh, we started Impulse Gear in 2015. It's been a while now.
Yeah.
We started it because we wanted to make VR games for core gamers. It's always kind of the passion of ours.
Yeah.
Well, I've had a career in making games. I started at Electronic Arts a long time ago, making games like Need for Speed, and then I went to actually moved down here to California. We're all based in California.
Yeah.
And worked in the mobile space for a little while. And but I always wanted to start a company, and it's always been something that I wanted to do, where, working with other people who really want to make games, and wanted to be involved in that side of it, where it's the business side as well as the game development side. And actually, Seth, my co-founder, he had this great idea for the aim controller, which we've talked about a lot. I mean, on Farpoint, we pitched the idea of the aim controller along with the game Farpoint, and so it was really early on. But when Seth had this idea before we really started the company, and we talked about it, and he kind of showed me what he was thinking, and you put the headset on and you look at it, and you're like, oh yeah, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And that was really the idea right there. It was like, okay, we got to start the company, make a game, and make the jump to really turn this into a reality. And that was, 2015. Must have been 2015.
Yeah.
Or late 2014. Yeah, around there. It's a while ago now. But
so how far after that did you guys start developing Larcenauts?
Well, so we've only been developing Larcenauts for about a year and a half. Well, I guess maybe almost, a year and a half or so. Maybe 2 years now. Probably a year and a half. During that time, we made Farpoint. We did a couple of DLC for Farpoint, and we did some exploration, and then we really decided on what we wanted to do next, which was Larcenauts.
Yeah. So who had the great, brilliant idea that came into a meeting one day and said, "Hey, let's kind of make a hero shooter game," and like everyone's just like, "Oh wow, like this is great." And like, did you have any worries since it has been done before? It is a category of game, like Overwatch and then Paladins, and there's multiple like that. But like, besides sitting yourself in VR space, which is the reason why I love this game so much, is because I was a huge fan of those games. Been playing in VR, it was nuts, and so the concept of that is really great. So like, who just like, hey, let's go ahead and do this and start developing this?
So it's almost always a team effort and a team that comes to exactly what it is we're going to build. And we finished Farpoint, and it actually had some online play. We did, I think when we launched, it had co-op, but then after was it a first update or a second update? I think we added 1v1. So there was a little bit of competitive gameplay in Farpoint, and that was some of the funnest stuff in Farpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the storyline, but I think the co-op mode, so when you're there fighting alongside someone, or you hop into the 1v1, was really cool, and it's awesome to see someone in VR, like, when they move their head and when they move their arms, you're like, that's definitely a human on the other side of this. You're not faking that with AI.
Yeah, no.
And you can just tell, and that was always really cool. But 1v1 isn't great. It's 1v1 is so limited.
Which is crazy because Blaston, I think that's what it's called. It's 1v1 and it's working great. It's kind of weird.
Right, and you can do it. I mean, it's awesome. But we always saw that as like the 1v1 in Farpoint as being something that we really wanted to take further, and so we just wanted to focus on something multiplayer, and the co-op was working great, so playing along with someone else, and then the PvP nature of it was awesome. So it was kind of what do we want to do? We want to take this PvP, this co-op stuff in VR and make something new. And the hero-based shooter portion of that, it actually didn't come right away. We started off with like just creating these characters that could kind of do a bunch of these interesting abilities. And just developing the abilities to figure out what this game is going to be like. Because when you start off with a game, you don't always know exactly what it's going to be like. And we knew we wanted to have these really fun and different abilities. But we didn't know right away that it was going to be a hero shooter. But after the first couple of characters, they had just these really unique abilities, and they were really fun to play with. And like, no, this is definitely going to be hero shooter. We have to like lean into that more, make more of these characters, because it's just awesome how they're different, and it's fun to play as these different characters instead of just one role, right? You can easily get into a situation with some of these games where you may not have the variety in the abilities, which can be cool. I mean, like, you play soccer. Soccer's a great game. Obviously, it's a massive game. and you do have different positions, but generally everybody has the same skill set. They kick balls, they do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the hero shooter idea where you can have these fantastical abilities, like you can dash, you can power slide, you can teleport, like all that stuff. It was just like super fun to do, and we wanted to just push that further and further. So it just made sense to make that hero shooter. And one of the things we really love about it, and I think this is just common in all hero shooters, is the co-op side of things has always been really big. I mean, that's my favorite part of playing online, playing with other people, is playing with other people, like playing on the same team as them, and the way that these characters will they complement each other, right? And you got to figure out what's going to be not just your play style, but what's going to play well with your teammates. And so I think that's just really fun, and the whole team was just really excited to make something like that, where we could make it a real choice to figure out what that team composition would be, and how it was going to min-max
for sure. And so you said these characters were made first, right? And so I would love for you guys to maybe push out illustrations of like preforms of what these characters were, like almost like a sketchbook. Like I remember when they were making the game Anthem, even though Anthem didn't do very well, I was an enthusiast of it for the longest time, and they had this book of all the art in it because it was a beautiful game. It just wasn't. It was before its time on certain things. Needed more time. Something with it. They just pushed it out. But they had this lovely book of how they were building and designing each character and like the stages it went through. And so I think that'd be cool. But it's kind of interesting that your guys' game, since it's VR and a person's actually in the skin of that character, like have a character like VOD. I don't think it can be done in any game unless it's like a 2D PC game. Like I know there's some punching motions in PC, like some MOBA games, but other than that, in an actual game, I don't think anything punches physically. But I've heard so many stories of you playing with somebody, they start punching, all of a sudden you just hear them go right into a wall, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the fun things of VR is like getting the physical motion into it, right? And that's how shooters are. Like, I mean, I think why shooters work so well in VR as well is because you can really naturally like look around and aim around at the same time, and a lot of people don't really get that when they're just looking at someone play a shooter. But the ability to like shoulder check essentially while still going in one direction, like ready position, gun up in this position, and still just like check around without moving your whole worldview around with the keyboard and mouse or with the twin sticks. I don't want to start a PC console war, but there's it's a different thing, and it's really cool. But yeah, getting those VR interactions, like you're saying, like the punching in there, or just when we're laying the traps around and trying to get more and more of that VR. Specific things you can only do in VR is really fun, and something that we're excited about doing more of. Yeah,
that's very interesting. And you don't have to worry about a war. I'm actually part of a group called VR and Pancakes. It's a huge streaming group. So sometimes I'll be on an actual person that plays PC. Pancakes just flat screen PC, stuff like that. And so it's surprising there's not really much of a war in that Discord between like what's better or not. I think just people know VR is on the rise. And so when you
get so different.
Yeah, it is. It's so different. Like I've been playing VR for a year now. Before, like when I put my first headset on, the only reason why I got it is because I couldn't get a PlayStation 5. Because at that time they were just I was like, couldn't I go? I want something new. And my buddy was always bragging about how awesome it was. I go, like I've told this people all the time. I thought it was still red and blue stuff where things just pop out at you. And I put that thing on. And I'm just like, oh no, this is definitely the future. Like this is nuts. And so that's why I started creating it, like my esports organization, stuff like that. I want to start competing in this. I want to get heavy into it. So like, was there any fear when you guys were making this game? You're just like, what if VR just like is is just a fling for a little bit and dies out. Like you had to go with the rise, just like, hey, we're gonna throw a dart in somewhere and it's got to land on a bullseye. And you guys think you are getting that now?
I mean, that's the thing with VR or with any business or with any endeavor. Like you got to look at um, this was a project, and most games they do take at least a year to make, and this game is no
Yeah.
different. And so you're always looking a year or two out, or 5 years in some cases
Yeah.
with some games. So you're never sure where the industry is going to be. But I think what we've done as a studio is just look at virtual reality. When we first started, was very very small, and as a company and as a industry, it's just grown and grown and grown. And with the Quest and the Quest 2 headsets, just lots and lots of sales for those.
Yeah.
There's just this industry now that's there and ready for it's just wants content like Larcenauts, like these bigger games, and so we're just happy to be part of it, and it's something that we're really excited about too. Yeah, just being there.
Yeah, so you guys are still considered an indie game, right? Since you guys are brought into it, independent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So do you guys?
Probably on the bigger side for most of the VR games, but yes, we would be considered.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because like a lot of the indie games I only find on like side quests and stuff like that, and you guys have made it into the Quest store, and
Yeah.
but so like I never even know this, but like people that are in the indie side of things, right? Are you guys looking to be bought by like Facebook or something like that? Like, is that something you guys look forward to, or is like I don't know how that works. Like, is that a big thing, or is like you try and stay away from that type of grasp?
Well, I think it's interesting because everybody's probably starts companies for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So I would imagine that every single person that you ask that question, every business owner,
Yeah.
game developer that starts a game company, game development studio, probably has a different answer.
Oh yeah, I can see that for sure.
For us, it was always we started the company because we wanted to make great games.
Yeah.
And we specifically want to make great games for VR and for core gamers in VR, because when we started the company, that just didn't exist. There was a couple of demos. There was small to other games or things like that, but that just didn't exist. And so that's what we really like doing. So we just want to keep doing that.
Yeah.
And that's the game plan. We had this great partner with Sony when we were working on Farpoint with them.
Yeah.
Doing the PSVR side of things, and I think there's a lot of opportunity in the Quest side of things as well, like we were just talking about how it's growing.
Yeah.
But like specifically looking for an acquisition, I know when you think of tech companies, everyone's always talking about, oh yeah, you start a tech company and then you sell it and you do your thing. It's like, well, sure. I mean, that's what a lot of tech companies do, but I think game companies can be kind of different in that way, where as long as we keep being able to make awesome games and put them out, that's what we want to do.
Yeah, no, it's passion. Yeah,
that's our goal. Yeah. So
yeah, I totally get that. So you took a year and a half to build the game, right? So was there like any formality of an alpha, beta stages, or was it only you guys doing it yourself? Like, was there ever like a group of say 100 people on a panel just like saying, "Hey, this is the way I want to do it"? Or you guys completely were like, "Oh no, we're just gonna do the beta testing, we get to a point where we want it and release it"?
That's a good question about how you develop games. Because it was interesting too. Like I think you also look at when you start a game. It's just too early. You get the basics together. You have to get the players running around and shooting at each other and dying, and this is even before we're talking about like getting the abilities in there and all that stuff. So you have a fairly long period where you're in maybe there's a little bit of pre-production where you're figuring out what the game is actually going to be, and then the production where you're developing the full roster of characters, and all the maps, and then there's this period at the end where like maybe you hit alpha, and this is when you start bringing in outside, and where you have basically everything complete, and you're just finishing stuff, and then you lead up to Gold Master is usually what we call for the final version of the game. There's never a final version now with these games like Larcenauts where they're online, but most of that during COVID.
Okay.
So so we haven't been in our offices for I was there last week, and I was the only one there for most of it. But for a year and a half or two, maybe it's got to be actually 2 years.
I know I'm coming up on 2 years.
But, yeah, right. So just like you, California shut down, and we all started working from home. So it's an online game, so we got to test out a lot of networking from various different people's houses.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Which is great. You test the game in the office a lot, and you have perfect, zero latency. It's perfect.
Yeah.
But we actually got the chance to test the game and develop the game when we're all working from home. So that was pretty good. And then we got you get playtesters in. We usually like friends and family, people that you can get to play the game. And of course we worked with Oculus to get it onto the store, and had QA and all of that stuff. So there's a whole lot that goes into making games, and I think it's it is very interesting when to bring people in and how to do it. And especially with COVID going on, getting those playtests was really fun, and I think really important to get everybody in there to play the game before we released. We also do playtests internally every day. So,
but you're always in it.
Yeah, not on the weekends, but every other day we're in there, and it's a lot of fun. And I think it's I think it's a good little break there too to get in there and play the game for a little bit.
Because I know like Zenith right now, if you heard of that game, it's going to be coming out. It's going to be I think it's going to be a MOBA. I think it's just going to be an open world kind of like Destiny, if you have like Destiny 2 and stuff like that. It's going to be that type of version of VR. And so they're doing an interesting take on theirs, which really fascinating, because I think I've seen maybe a couple models like this, maybe in like the app play for like, I do some playtesting on some apps that are getting ready to come out. So they started out with packages of like so many tiers, this is what you are, and then by the time the game comes out, first of all, you'll get to know what the game's all about. But they're starting people all the way out into the alpha stage. So people are seeing this game before it's probably not even close to what it's going to be. And they just get to be in there all the time and just sending them feedback. But it's like, I think it's like $20-$30 right off the back. And I don't know if it's like a monthly membership you're doing, but it's like constantly. And like, depending on where you are, there's like a supporting thing that you get in there, and there's like all the way up to where you'll just get a free copy of the game and maybe a shirt when the game actually comes out. And it's a very interesting thing, and I've heard people like, it's not very many people complain about it anymore because they know what they signed up for. They know they're in alpha, they know they're in beta, that you're going to be seeing things like that. And it really, I'm like, and so when you guys did this, like, was there any thought like of maybe doing that? You're just like, but you said you picked family and friends here and there, but do you think that maybe you would have had like been further along with development on certain things that you wanted when the game came out compared to then like where you're all now? Like right now, you guys are on everything. Anytime there's an issue, I have not seen it not get fixed within like a couple days. But when you guys first started out, there was like certain things that were things that need to be fixed, even though they got fixed pretty quickly. I noticed in my perspective, is like people in the population world, they're a very interesting breed of people right now. And they came in, and they came back to me, and they're just like, I'm not playing it. I'm just like, no, stop that. And then finally, people are coming back. But like, you think that if you had more people in the game beforehand, that it wouldn't have been having any type of issues whatsoever. Because I know for a fact, any game I've ever played, there's not going to be issues. You know, I mean, it's always
Yeah,
issues.
yeah. Yeah, the when to release a game is really interesting. And what we did when we released the game, we wanted to make sure that we had the amount of content that we thought was going to be needed to support a game like this. And when I think you look at the stuff that we launched with, we had 8 characters, which is, I don't know, I feel like a lot of characters. They're all very different.
Yeah, yeah.
And 8 characters, 4 maps, 3 different game modes. Each one of those characters has levels. They've got these the power slates, which are completely change how you want to play with the characters.
I definitely agree.
We had daily and weekly quests. We had you could play with, you could invite people to do all this stuff. So I think the amount of content we had was I don't know if like if you compare it to other VR games, I think we were actually well ahead of what most people would have expected. And I don't think people really talked about that a lot, like how much content was in there.
Yeah.
But there were a couple of things that we wanted to do when we made the game, and we're really a focus of what we were doing when we were making the game, which was we want to make sure that this is a game that can bring new people into VR. So we made a lot of decisions early on about how to make some of our abilities, some of the things that we were doing, really easy for people who play shooters, like flat game shooters.
Yeah.
I like that you call them pancake games.
Yeah.
But like flat games, bringing those people into VR. So like very, very intuitive for someone to, like pick up the controllers and, hit the thumbstick to crouch, right? These are things that people just always, it's established conventions on console. That's how flat games work. So we wanted to make sure that was a really easy transition for people if they're picking up VR for the first time and hopping in there. And at the same time, it's got all the VR stuff that you want to be competitive for the people who've been playing VR for a long time. And there were definitely some choices that we got hammered for. And I know this is that the arms running thing. It was something where we wanted to make it really comfortable for people and really accessible for people. But there were people that had the people that had played a lot of VR got in there and were like, this is different. And they didn't like that. They didn't like that it took away the control of their hand. Really good. People who played, every single game. Some influencers who played absolutely everything. And so getting that feedback and being able to react to it, I was really happy that the team, we were able to react to it so quickly and get that they were looking for into the game. But that feedback did come pretty close to when we were going to launch, and it was a question of did we want to hold the game and not release it? And that's a question. You can hold it, but then you don't get more people in there. You don't get people playing. You don't.
And you get people thinking you get people thinking twice about what's going on with the game. Like they're gonna start double checking if it's worth, getting into it and stuff like that.
Well, and the for the people new to VR, we thought it was a very good introduction to VR. So I see both sides of it, and I'm just really glad that we have been able to work with the community to get a lot of these features into the game, and the ones that you can basically play the game how you want to now, no matter what it is. If you want to, a lot of people still don't use the manual reload. They go back to the automatic reload or the style-based reload. Because they like it better. And I know some people love the manual reload. And I actually use manual reload for a lot of things now, um, but uh, but not everybody.
Yeah,
Not everybody does.
yeah, and
So giving those options.
yeah, I totally see it. Like, and you guys also came out with a roadmap, which a lot of games usually don't do. They kind of just like drop it, and then they kind of make it a featured item that they're just going to bring in surprise people with. But you guys kind of had said, hey, from here until I believe December, right, going into next year, 2022, you have this
Just a fall.
just a fall. Okay,
The first roadmap we released was just going up until this big.
the one coming out in 2 days.
Yeah, the one coming out. So yeah.
So you think?
Take a look at the roadmap. We've got some big stuff coming soon.
Yeah. So I know the 30th, you guys have a new game mode and a new character, and
a new map.
a new map, and so all this stuff, and then probably you're adding probably other features to other characters. Usually, what people, I know you guys haven't done an update in I believe 2 weeks, right? Or it was like a couple Fridays ago, like maybe 2 Fridays ago. You guys seems like we were just guessing that you guys were waiting until the big update to kind of just massively just put it out there.
Yeah.
So you think this, and not only this, but the game's also going on sale for a short, brief time, right? Or is it now?
It just did. It just did. It was last week. It was last Saturday.
And is it
I think
20% off?
Yeah. Oh, geez, I'd have to look.
I was told 10%, and then I thought I saw 20%. So I didn't know if it was that. But do you think this update, bringing new characters, new map, new everything, and then also the percentage, a little bit of the price drop, is that like you think it'll bring more people back into like the community? Because I see the growth of it every day because I see the charts that people put out there, and you guys probably get a couple, I think like 4,000 to 5,000. Sometimes it was like 10,000 one day. You guys gained of players within your servers. And so do you think this will actually bring more people in with all of this happening? Are you guys going to have like a big commercial or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, with any big release, you hope and expect that people are gonna pick up the game again, try it out, and check out what's new, because there's a lot of new stuff, and I think even just the incremental things that we've been fixing over the past number of months. If people haven't checked the game out since we added like the immersive update, right?
For sure.
We've changed a lot. We've added a lot. If you are a VR hardcore fan and want to do all the manual reload and the immersive sprint, all that stuff, we've got all that stuff. If you want to check out new characters, that's coming soon, right? There's a lot of stuff, and also just the tuning. The meta game is always changing a little bit, so I think there's always something kind of new for the people who are continuing to play as well as community. The community's great, and I love the community. You guys are doing a lot of cool stuff in there, getting really good at the game. We do play tests, like you mentioned. We have the internal play tests going on right now for the update that's coming out.
Yeah,
it's really awesome to get you guys in there because you're very good. So having you guys play with the devs and do that stuff. We're doing that internally right now, but we also want to do.
You back? There you are.
I'm here. Am I here?
You froze up for a second.
Oh, well, hopefully it's still going well. But basically, I was just saying that I think playing with the community is super fun, and I want to do that more, and I can't wait for this update to drop so we can all play.
Yeah, me too. I got the email to do it, to be the play testing, and I was just like, send them all my information. I was just like, yeah, let me in this thing, because I stream the game every night pretty much. So I'm like, yeah, I can give you guys some content, and I never got an email back, and it was like 2 of my people that are on my team got in, and I'm just like, what a bummer.
Yeah. The other part is we got this update coming, but we also have community events, which I think we were just talking about before the show, which are exciting.
Yeah. So the first one was make an advertisement for the game, and then that one, I don't know who won that one. The second one was make a podcast. And even the main reason why I even do podcasts now is because I did a podcast with someone
That's
that's
so much fun.
yeah. I used to do podcasts for Destiny the game, but it wasn't. It was only
Yeah.
myself talking in a room, messing up a whole bunch of times, and then redoing it constantly. And I really enjoyed doing it because it was just a fun little
Yeah.
hobby thing I did. And so I did my first kind of podcast for that event with his name's Complete Guarantee, and he's one of the people that will be creating tournaments and leagues once you guys have private lobbies coming out. So I talked to him about like what he thinks the competitive field of Larcenauts will happen, and I know just from the nature of games, when you guys do release private lobbies, it's probably going to push competitive people from other games are going to see this because I've been telling people this all the time, and it's not biased or favoritism whatsoever because I do love the game. The reason why I come play this game so much is it's probably going to be the most competitive game in VR, and that's hands down because you have population 1, but it's a typical battle royale. Like you can only get so competitive with a battle royale. There's no too much strategy, and not only that, you're versing 5 other teams where it's very unpredictable. Unlike Larcenauts, it's a little more intimate playing with another team, and you know who they are. You know their play styles. You can watch video of them when they play. You can practice with them, and then you have to figure out how to beat them. You know, like that is the only reason why like the game like Overwatch, which is similar to this, but it's a pancake game. It's the reason why they haven't made an Overwatch 2 is because that format, that structure is working so well, and it's like still to this day, it's a very competitive game. And so I see that in here. And so that's why I do podcasts now. And then someone from my team won. I think they had one of your voice actors on that did Arc L6, is the one who won that event. And then the one that's ending on Tuesday is you take a compilation of your character, of your favorite character, multiple characters, and then like just basically show everybody like how good you are at the game. It's piled up. And I know they said like you have to put like sometimes you made mistakes, and I was like, man, it's so hard to find a video I want to pull out of me making a mistake.
Yeah, no, those are so fun. Yeah, the first one was the first competition. I think was actually show some tips on how to play the game. Doesn't have to be an ad. It was fun. There was a lot of great entries in that one. But yeah, this one, this community event that's happening now is awesome. I think the highlight reels are really fun. And you said you're gonna use Kalima, right? You're gonna do a highlight reel with her.
Yeah. So right now I'm top 5 in the world with Kalimia, and I've only used her unless if I'm like doing bad in a match, I will switch it off so I don't lose my notoriety. But that's pretty much. I don't use any other character too much. I do have my secondary character, which is Bosun.
She's awesome.
I really like her. And then my third.
She's got a good character too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love her.
I like the voiceover in the game.
Yeah, so good.
Because I didn't know what the name was one time, and she put the armor on, and it's Mecha. She said something weird. Yeah. It's like a name. I'm just like I've never heard her call that before. But there's a couple of clips where I have when you're going up to C on the space map where you're pretty much you're on like a
Hazard pay. Hazard pay.
Yeah.
Hazard pay. Yeah.
And so when you're going up to C, I think it's A or no, that's A. So you got A and you got B in the middle and you got C in the back. So I was going up to A and you have to go up into that little area where you just can fall off the freaking top of it. And I've fallen off that thing so many times. So I'll put probably a couple of clips of me falling off the edge there.
Especially with Kalima, yeah.
Yeah, because I dash so much.
You can dash off and there's some spots where you can land down below and you just can't get back up. I don't know if you've ever done that.
I believe I have. And like when you're saying like how much you move around, like Kalima and then Arc are probably the fastest characters in the game. And so, and so basically, like when you're doing this, and you said like when it comes to immersion and stuff like that, like it gets crazy. Like if you're not used to VR, like I could definitely be like, I wouldn't necessarily be dashing all around, spinning and stuff because I'm a free walker. Like I just walk around, spin around in real space in real time because it makes my head actually understand what I'm doing. And like I see people play with their thumbsticks and stuff, and playing with those characters spinning around like that, I would be done within like.
Yeah, well, and like we were talking about with the stuff we released at launch, we actually had, I think, all the same comfort features we have now, which is pretty extensive. Like smooth turn, snap turn, the blinders, the vignetting, all of that stuff. But yeah, it's part of that accessibility thing. We want to make sure that everyone can play.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you were saying with the private lobbies coming up, you know, we're looking at releasing those in you know, fairly bare bones form, so we can get it out there and get you guys playing with it, and you know, see where it goes from there. But I'm really excited to see the team comps there, because like we were talking about doing the internal playtests, we have a small team, so it's almost like we know how each other play. So it's kind of like like you were saying, oh yeah, you can watch a YouTube video of somebody play, so when you're coming up against them, you know what kind of tactics they're going to do. Well, we've played hundreds of games against each other now, and you know a lot about how these people are going to play, and then getting in there and doing a match, and then getting you guys in there, or like playing on live servers is just completely different, because you have no idea what people are going to do, and it's just so fun. It's just awesome. That's one of the things I love about just these like hero shooters, just the team comps, the strategies, the stuff you can do.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into talking about that with you, with what you're going to think, like what it's going to be like. But before we do that, I did have someone on the stream. They asked, do you know by chance off hat what the player base is right now, like the number is, like the overall people that have the game and are in it? Like, do you guys have that? Like, you know what it is?
Have the game? Yeah, I mean, I don't know the number. Thousands of people have the game. Thousands have the game, and
I think last time I looked, it was like rimming like 80,000. It was something, maybe even higher than that. I know, like, and maybe it's got to be way more than that, because I know Population 1 and you guys are almost at the same now. And Population 1's been out, coming up a year in October.
It's only been a year for Pop 1?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
My team is actually putting together an event for that, and I can't really release too much of it. I don't know, because my co-owner, he does the Pop 1 side, and I just do all the fun stuff. I don't even know what I do anymore.
You just play?
No, I do all the coding for the, somewhat coding on the like our website, and then I do all the Discord stuff, and handle all of the social media, and do stuff like this, and so he came up to me about the Population 1. I'm also getting way more involved with Larcenauts, and I'll be trying to help some people bring in like tournaments and league play for this game. So I'm kind of going more to this, and I said, hey, you can have Population 1. So every once in a while, I'll come to me with a wacky idea, and so we do have big news coming up for our esports organization, and he gave me one crazy idea that might come true, but when I see it, I'll believe it. But it's one of those type of things. So going from what I was saying about the competitiveness, right? What do you think that's going to be like overall? Because I think the number one thing, I know when you release privates, is for someone to successfully have a tournament and get people hyped up about it, they have these things called shoutcasters, who are just a fly on the wall watching an overview. I don't know how much you can talk about it, but is it going to be a feature that you think will be in there right away, or is it going to be something you're going to try and build in later?
That's definitely something that would come later, not right away. It's like a spectator mode. That's kind of the idea there. Someone who's not probably not, like, they don't have a body, they just the camera, right?
Yeah.
To you can fly around and spectate. That's a great idea. That's something that we definitely like to do. It doesn't fall into the it would be an amount of work for us to do it. So that you can reliably join the right server, do all that stuff. And so I certainly see the value of it, but we wanted to make sure that we're not holding up some of these features until we get everything. We wanted to get get the first piece out there to you guys, so you can
Yeah.
start setting up those tournaments, start setting up the private lobbies, so you can check out what it's like to run one of these, even though you don't have the ability to maybe have another spectator to do
Yeah, and there's ways around
streaming.
it. There's definitely ways around it. It's usually typically you have
Yeah,
someone streaming in the game, and they have a
right.
shoutcaster sitting outside and just flipping between their channels and stuff and watching it that way
Yeah,
to give them that type of a player based kind of look of how that's going instead of saying, "Hey, here's your spreadsheet" at the end of it, and then people, it's not very intuitive. It's just like, yeah, there's a spreadsheet. They won. Good job. But you
right.
actually get to. It also helps the people in the teams build a fan base too. Is basically what happens. It's like you see someone playing a character against another top character, and then they have like a one-on-one battle at a moment, and you get to see that, and you're just like, oh wow. And then next thing you know, you
Yeah,
see it happen again, and the whole entire tide just flips. It's just like it's going to be really interesting to watch that. But I can definitely see
yeah.
that.
Well, I want to see the like the multi view at the same time, where you've got the two people's view on the stream at once,
Yeah,
uh, when they're facing off. That'd be cool.
yeah, and so there's like a lot of things when it comes to this that we're still talking about, um, the biggest question when it comes to when these people run these tournaments is if we're going to allow power slates. Like
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
there might be options where we might have power slate tournaments, and then there'd be one where you just go bare bone. Like, let me see what your character can do with no addition. The only addition that
Yeah.
we cannot stop is someone being a level 20. Which does
Right.
give someone a slight advantage, not too much. But the only reason why this is a question, and like, don't get me wrong, the power slates are a great idea, and it can definitely flip something because if someone is doing a certain character in a combination with like a chi and a vod, then you might want a level 5 health slate over that. Or like with Myclemia, there's a level 5 slate for Emporal Rift, which makes that thing last a very long time. And so you got things like that, but when it comes to new players coming in and wanting to enjoy competitive play,
Right.
they can't do that. They cannot come out,
Right.
play for a month, and then expect to run with some of the top people in the game. Unless we take away those slates.
Yeah. No, there's certainly at launch we're like I said, pretty bare bones, but there are ideas like no power slates, the level cap, all that stuff. I think the idea certainly is to make it so that the private lobbies are set up to allow for really competitive play like that. And that's totally the intention behind it. So it'll come in time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not nothing ever is going to be all the features there at start. We want to make it so that it's something that we can start playing with and then start adding these features as we go.
Yep.
But yeah, I think power slates, yeah, absolutely. They're a piece of the puzzle there. And like you said, the power slates are a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And getting the right one for the right situation is definitely a choice. So it'd be a question of like, do you allow all of them? Maybe there's maybe say there's no power slates allowed, or it's like maybe you could do something like only level 1 power slates. I don't know. We have to see what we want to do there, but I think there are because you get 2 power slate slots as well, right? So there's definitely some questions there when you're looking at competitive play, how you want to handle that.
Yeah, so that's one thing that we're still trying to figure out on that end, and it's more of what's fair to the general public instead of someone, because the way you guys have is everything's based off RNG. And I even still to this day, I know people that have had the game for a month or 2 months. They don't even have all the characters yet, and so it's like, what's fair for those people that, sorry, you just don't have the luck of the draw and or the time, because I know I work 8 hours a day. I work out for 2 hours and then I play the game for a couple hours every night.
Hmm.
compared to some kid that goes to school or during summer, like when the game came out, right before summer, and they got to do all of that while I was sitting at home working, and they have some crazy slates, and I'm just like sitting there. So we just have to find what's fair for the general public when running these things, because if not,
Yeah.
then it won't be fun for people. Like a level
Yeah,
5 health
absolutely.
slate for VOD is unbearable. Like he is a tank at that point.
That's what he was like before he nerfed him a
Oh,
little
I
bit.
know.
It was
Like,
all the time.
geez. So I can
Yeah.
I can handle one now, but there's
Yeah.
two like
You got to learn him. You
yeah
definitely have to learn him. I mean, we get a lot of questions about VOD because he's if you don't know how to deal with a VOD,
yeah.
it's kind of like he seems impossible to
Yes,
kill. But
he's
once
not. Yeah.
you learn his weaknesses, it's not that bad. But
Yeah, I'll be
yeah,
adding a video where I took down two and one thing. One was
yeah,
running away and I killed one. And then not to toot my own horn, but I'm probably one of the best drop shots in the game where no one does it. I don't know why they don't do it, but I'll drop on people and he's trying to punch me. And so when he was trying to go for my head, I would drop down, and when he'd go down, I'd pop back up at him.
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're playing as Kalima. You can take him out no problem.
Oh yeah, no problem. Like I said,
Yeah,
there's like two or three people that I play with. I see all the time that have level 5 health slates, and
yeah,
I have to keep my distance far away
yeah.
because if he grabs me, it's one punch and I'm done. Because
Hmm.
and there's only been a few times where I've been successful to, and usually when I see something like that, then I up my rift, or I tell a chi to come with me, and I use my there's a boost for Kalimia where um, every slate you get, if a chi is using the gun on you, you get actual more health from the chi. And so that one's a good one as long as
Yeah,
you have a
for
chi that
healing
knows what they're doing.
receptivity. Yep.
So I
Yeah,
do like that one. So there's like even me talking about this, like we're already thinking about ways to do this, but even to this day, like
yeah.
I get maybe a Kalimia slate like maybe once a week, if that. And
Hmm.
other than that, then it's just RNG. And a lot
Well,
of
there are a
people,
lot of slates too.
yeah, there's a lot. And right now, nobody's open
Yeah,
boxes right now. And that's what I was going to ask you. I don't know if you could tell me this, but it'll definitely change the factor if I open up a box or not. Are your
sure.
boxes preset RNG?
So the way it works is if you this the boxes that you open now, you should go ahead and open all your boxes.
Okay, is that okay? Is that what you're saying?
Um,
Because we're
yeah,
waiting for that new
because
slates. We're waiting for the new character. We're waiting for the slates. So
yeah,
you're saying
yeah,
that the boxes that we have now, the coding is not structured to have that character or slates in it.
yeah, you can go ahead and open the boxes.
Yeah, because
The
I know games that do that, and I know games that don't do that. And I told people, I go, you guys are saving a lot of boxes, and I know how companies work when it comes to their coding stuff. And I go, it's going to be two or the other way. And then someone's like,
yeah,
well, it doesn't hurt to just save them. And I go, I get it, but I go, I want to find the answer. And that's why I've just remembered that. I'm like, oh, yeah, I got to ask him that.
yeah. There's um yeah, I can't talk too much about what's coming up,
Hmm.
but yeah, the we are making a couple of changes, um, and yeah, I just can't talk too much about it. But you'll find out in a couple of days.
Yeah.
It's coming up close. We're really
Oh,
close here.
I'm
We're
very
like
excited.
I said,
New
we're
character.
days away.
Are you allowed to maybe tell me how many characters you guys plan on ending up with, or is it kind of an unlimited number right now? You just don't know what's a perfect.
Yeah, we don't have a limit. I mean the the key with the characters. We just want to add more and add more roles because like whenever we're adding a character, we're looking at like what niche are they going to fill, how are they going to fit with the rest of the roster, and I think there's a lot we can do still, so
Yeah.
it's just looking at where we go from there, um, and even potentially this is something we've thought a lot about, and we want to get closer to this is being able to have character limits.
Hmm.
I'm sure people have talked about. I know I've watched people talk about this on Discord. I know this is something where we're on Discord all the time. We're reading all the stuff that comes through, but
Yeah.
the seeing the discussions happen there certainly help us. And looking at the idea of having character limits, or like at least some sort of loose class limits, will be really good for the future too.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no limit to the number of characters we could create. It's just looking at adding more.
Yeah, there's so many things that I want to ask you about this. And so it comes out in 2 days, right?
Four. It's on the 30th. That's 4 days.
4 days. Yeah. Okay, I think the NDA ends on Tuesday, right? Is that what ends?
Is correct.
Okay, so the NDA ends on the 20th. That's why I got that in there. And that's when we're finally going to see these videos and talk about it. So I'm going to just hold back and just, be a kid on Christmas Day waiting to find out what it's all this about. But we already know what the new game mode is, right? Like, that's...
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think that's been announced.
Okay. Because I didn't know if that was public or not. Because I know I get certain information from like emails and stuff when it comes to like doing testing that I don't know how much is out of there. So, that's gonna be. I'm very interested. Man. That's why when you were talking about it.
Unfortunately we can't talk too much about it, but I am very excited to do that and to play with people. Because we've been playing internally. It's a lot of fun, and I think it shows off the team comps really well.
Yeah,
I think that's probably where we have to leave it. but yeah, it shows off the team comps.
Yeah, and it's kind of worries me though with the slates and everything that the new character might get looked past because. You'll have to get slates for it. So the only people I really see using it.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you don't think so?
I don't think so at all. No. No.
Yeah, because
So the thing about the game and with the slates and the reason we've built it this way, like with the quests and everything, we want people to play all the characters and get good at all the characters because there's so much there. And I think by learning one character, you learn how to play against that character too.
Yeah.
So I have no doubt in my mind that we are going to release this character and people are going to say that character is the most overpowered character because they said it about all the characters.
So,
but once you start playing with it, you'll learn the weaknesses, you'll learn the strengths, and that's the key to the game. You got to be good at all the characters if you want to be.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the best at all the characters, but you have to be good at all the characters to be. Top of your game. So.
Oh, I just had a
thought in my head. It's gonna stop people.
I just had a thought in my head. I just forgot what I was gonna say. One thing I do want to ask you is, so right now, everything is based off of notoriety, right? You guys.
Well, there's 2 tracks. There's Share the Hall and there's notoriety. But if you're talking about
So basically, are you gonna have win-loss ratio, KD? Anything built like that, because right now it's kind of interesting getting these younger people coming in that have time to build notoriety. I do understand there is progression for notoriety where it goes 150 to 350 to 450. And so that is.
No, you'll definitely you'll cap out. I mean, if
you
have to,
you get a big box if you cap out.
Well, no, it's also just the scales change. So as you're playing, when you start playing the game, if you win a game, you get, I'd have to look, but let's say you get 10 notoriety to win the game. If you lose a game, you lose, or you actually still get 2 early on. You still get notoriety even if you lose games.
Yeah.
But as your notoriety bracket, your score target goes higher and higher, you'll start winning games and you'll get notoriety, but if you lose games, you lose notoriety. So it kind of balances you into a spot where you're, it turns into a skill-based number after a while. It won't be the amount of time you spend playing. You will almost certainly hit a point where it's like, to get higher, you have to either start playing with more teams, doing more, get better at other characters.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do there, but yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, so you guys, yeah, I know
it's
that.
not just a grind.
Okay, and so, but like, do you guys ever like plan on giving full points for winning the match? Because I noticed there is no like winning an actual match, right? There's no actual physical notoriety given, and that kind of like maybe like 100 or something, like even 50 to 100 just for winning the game, you know.
Sure.
Just to have some type of reason for like, hey, I won the game, I get this notoriety. And like, there's sometimes where if you're running with a good team, and like when you're playing, I call it domination because it's in my head for everything, but the one where you capture the flags, right? The zone.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name. I just call it domination because of Call of Duty. I've been calling it all my life. So.
Refuel.
Yeah, refuel.
No,
you're right.
Refuel? Or is that the
yeah, refuel, because uplink is with the ball, refuel is fueling the points. So yeah, that one right now, like before it was team deathmatch. Like I couldn't get team deathmatch unless I cared about myself and still everyone's kills.
Right.
And you guys fixed it, and now it runs really smoothly. Like that's awesome. And but the thing now is that it's hard to get points, especially when a team's running together. Is because unless you know, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but if you're on a refuel point, and if you kill someone single-handedly, you have a chance of getting 90 points.
Yeah, you get more points if you kill people when you're defending. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you capture it, and there's a bunch of ways to get points.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons why I think the notoriety system is interesting. Is that we've built it to reinforce the game mode, and it's constantly evolving. We're always changing bits and pieces here and there, but the idea is we want to reinforce the game mode objectives.
Yeah.
So if you're playing well, playing to the objectives, you should do well in notoriety. And then even if your team's not cooperating in the best way, you still have an opportunity for you to really help your team. And push that objective as much as you can. So
and there's some games like if you're all evenly matched, like we'll all be shy, and so like I just feel like sometimes a win, like when we get a win, it would just that little boost would sometimes give us all what we wanted.
Right. I mean, the notoriety system is still certainly something that we're still gathering feedback on, and something that we're excited about adding more to, but I think we've heard a lot of ideas about what we can do with it, and I think it's about continuing to monitor it and see what happens when we get to this, like when we get private lobbies, and see if we want to do any changes. There.
And the only reason why I brought up the stats thing is because as a organization owner for a team like this, like I can't always judge how good a person is if they're sitting at top 1 in the world, with a character.
Top 1 game. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like if I had kill death ratio or a win ratio, or like I know some games they show you like how many times you left a game and stuff like that, and that means a lot to me. That means how temperamental you're going to be and how much you're actually going to stick around to play with a team when things aren't always going the right way, And so I think of things like that. Unlike some people, like I got top 5 here, top 2, and I'm just like. That's fine, but it's like the people that are on my team, like they're just good. Like they're just good at the game. Like you're bringing these people in that I played against them, and it's just like I just need stats, and like so now we're just going off of where they're at in the world, and then we have to play with them now. And if they're show any type of thing, like the biggest thing Havoc is against is toxic stuff. So if they cuss too much while playing with me, they don't talk enough, they're rude to people, anything like that. I don't care how good
you
are
want
at
to
the
like
game.
the people you're playing with. Yeah, for sure.
And so they can be the best in the world.
Team.
Yeah, they can be the best in the world. I've even seen people that are really good at the game, but they're really toxic people. And I'm just like, sorry, that's just not your place. Like I'll go ahead and lose against you every single time, and they can deal with you.
It is a game. You wanna have fun.
Yeah,
that's part of it, right? So I like that. I like that people are having fun. That's why we make games. so.
Yeah, you don't think that pushing these private lobbies will ruin the the mainframe's player base, where people might have to be forced to play more bots at some point in times during a day that people are actually testing itself in private lobbies. Like when
No, I don't think so.
like when Population 1 dropped lobbies, like it would take us forever to just get a natural game. It kind of fixed its natural order again, but it's just something exciting that people can go in there and really say take your team in there and understand the whole map. Like you don't even sometimes I know for a fact like when private lobbies happen, there's gonna be a couple of us and like my team captain, we're probably gonna go in there and just walk around and talk about everything, and just see what we can do with that.
Hey, and that's what it's about. You can do what you want in it, and I think there's no problem with that. You get in there, you check it out, you do your thing.
So,
but
go ahead.
Yeah, no, that was it. Go ahead.
So are you allowed to tell me the server length? An hour, probably.
Server length?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like every server times out to keep things clean on your end. So like, are you gonna have a timed out server?
They don't time out.
Oh, really?
We run servers. Yeah, no, they servers. Yeah, I don't really know what you mean in that.
So like,
we get people into the game. If the teams are too unbalanced, we will actually rematch make.
I'm talking about private lobbies.
Oh,
yeah.
So you can play the game will still end. There's time limits on all the modes. So that will end, but yeah. Otherwise, the server itself is just, and you can keep creating them.
Yeah.
So
because say most games that I've ever played that have private lobbies, they give you an hour. They say, hey, this is open to you, but the more time you're in it, sometimes things start to crumble up because either something gets spammed too much. So say in Population, if we build too much in the main lobby of the server, it'll crash everything.
Well, yeah. No, it shouldn't do anything like that in our game. It's the same architecture we use for regular games, so you shouldn't see anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. But we should probably wrap up
Yeah,
soon.
for sure. Yeah, no.
I know we've had a lot. I'm absolutely super excited about showing more in a couple of days, and Matt, I'm really glad we got on this show. So I thank you.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, I told you if you don't tell me something, I will go on forever. I usually don't like to go over an hour, and I kept on looking at
I
it.
would too.
Yeah, but I really appreciate it, and keep up the good work. You guys are probably the most active devs when it comes to fixing problem stuff, and this new update. I already feel like it's going to blow me out of the water. So, great job on the game, and I can't wait to compete more in it. And hopefully you guys like my video I'm about to be making and putting out tonight.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, the community events are super fun. And yeah, I want to play with people on live servers once this drops. So,
awesome.
Really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Does it ever bug you if a player beats you as a creator of the game?
No. No, I love it. That's the best.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a good one. Have a good night, and have a good week.
All right. Thank you.